So next week for the Quest Wednesdays, we're continuing the theme of relationship, and this time we're going to be looking at rupture and repair. What do you like to say about that, Darren?
Wow, relationships is a little bit of my Achilles heel. I just think I've got so much work still to do on this. I think rupture and repair, what I've identified, Ade, is that I have a very sensitized response to any thought that I'm being overlooked. It relates back to my father ultimately, and the fact that I didn't feel connected to him, and yet I was observing him very connected to my brother, and I was thinking, what's wrong with me? And so I felt overlooked by him and not loved in the same way that he was loving my brother. So that's like a trigger point for me. And I think that's caused a lot of problems in relationships because the slightest inclination that I'm not being considered or I'm being overlooked really triggers me. And I think it's led to a lot of pain in relationships because I find myself, particularly when I'm getting close in intimate friendships, the closer I get with a friend or the closer I get with an intimate lover or a partner, the more painful it gets and the more difficult I find it to deal with. And I have in the past cut it off, the classic foreclosure, kill it off before it kills me. And that was also wrapped up in a lot of numbing around alcohol. So it would normally, I would have an outburst when I was drunk because all this stuff, all this pain that wasn't being talked about and processed would come out in eruption. And very often those eruptions they weren't repairable. It caused the end of relationships. So there was quite a few EastEnder cliffhanger moment type situations, in my relationships. I don't have those so much anymore, but I still struggle with those day by day conversations around feeling hurt or feeling overlooked or not, because I know part of it is just my hypersensitivity towards it. So I have to process that a little bit because otherwise I'm laying it onto someone else saying, you need to give me more attention. And it's not really about them. It's about something from the past. So I think those are some of the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that I've put together. It makes sense. And it also makes me, it kind of reminds me I've got to stay conscious. I've got to really apply myself to my friendships, and try to speak out. What do I want? What don't I want? What's okay? What's not okay? Um, and that can be very hard for me to do, but I'm working at it really. How about you? How about you?
Yeah, it's ongoing work. It's lifelong work. I think for me, one of the things I recognize now is that ruptures are part of relationships. In the work of Brené Brown, remember when we were looking at Rising Strong, one of the things that she talks about is we will fall. When we go out into this arena, we want to live our best lives, we will fall. It's a guarantee. And for me, it's the same with ruptures. In all relationships, there will be those ruptures. There could be big ruptures, there could be small ruptures. It could be someone not returning a phone call. It could be someone not giving me enough airspace when I'm talking, airtime when I'm talking to that person. It could be, yeah, someone revealing a secret that I might have shared with them. There will always be ruptures. And I think for myself, for a very long time, I tried to avoid those ruptures. So whenever I would sense a rupture potentially coming up, I would go into my fix it mode and try to contain it, not have it rupture, as it were. It's almost like having a pimple, and the pimple is about to pop, but I'm sort of like gently pressing it down so that the pimple in my mind will just disappear. But it doesn't happen that way. It's gonna rupture at some point. So that's one of the things I'm learning, the fact that ruptures are part of relationships. Like yourself, actually, one of the things that I used to do, and I suspect I still do it to an extent, is just end it. When that rupture, I don't know what the word is, rupts, when it explodes, rather than going into the repair, simply ending it. So, example that comes to mind as I'm talking now is many, many years ago, there was this friend I had. and he'd come to my place. I'd cook meals. Really, really nice friend. We talked about forming and sustaining. We'd formed this friendship. We'd known each other for probably coming up to a year, and he was gonna come to my place for dinner. And I got a message a couple of hours before, and it said, "Oh, I've decided to leave the country. Um, Tomorrow is my last day in the country. It's been really nice getting to know you. I might visit again, but I forget the rest." And I remember in that moment, like I was furious. I was hurt. I felt abandoned. And rather than actually sending an email to say, "Oh, really sad that you're only giving me a couple of hours notice," I just sent something along the lines of, "It's been really nice knowing you too. Enjoy," and just sent off. And it's interesting, actually. I stopped using the email account that this person had sent me the email, has sent that email to. So, if, in fact, I don't even remember his name. I just like completely blocked this person.
Mm,
And from time to time, I pause now and I think, oh, actually, what stopped me from going into that repair mode? And
mm,
for me, repair might be having a conversation.
mhm,
It might be as simple as that. I know the word repair can bring up so many ideas in people's head, but it could be as simple as being conscious and having a conscious conversation. But for me, that used to feel so vulnerable. It
mm,
used to be so dangerous. And so, what I would often do is I would bypass the repair, and then very often that relationship would just die
mm.
because there was a lot of stuff that was festering that had not really been acknowledged. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation we're going to be having on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's a deep one. It's a difficult one. And everything you're saying, I'm sure lots of people are going to resonate with. So it'd be nice to get everyone's opinions and thoughts and experiences, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.